Welcome back to the Strange History Podcast, where we peel back the curtain on the past, shine a flashlight into the shadows, and ask, wait, spies in Santa Fe? I'm your host, Amy, and yes, today we're diving into an explosive tale of nuclear secrets, Southwestern scenery, and Soviet subterfuge. Today we welcome back Dan. He was easily bribed with a few enchiladas. Don't let him tell you otherwise.
Just don't tell my wife.
It's the 1940s. America's building a weapon so powerful it could end the war or the world. And in the unassuming little art town of Santa Fe, spies are trading atomic secrets over cups of coffee. Just another day in Santa Fe. This is the Santa Fe spy ring, and it's going to get weird.
The Manhattan Project. Let's build an apocalypse in the desert.
First, let's set the atomic stage. The Manhattan Project was the code name for the U.S. effort to develop an atomic bomb during World War II. It officially began in 1939, after Albert Einstein and physicist Leo Szilard wrote a now-famous letter to President Franklin D. Roosevelt, warning that Nazi Germany might be working on nuclear weapons. FDR responded with,
"Yikes."
I'm paraphrasing. By 1942, the project went full steam ahead. But you couldn't exactly build a super-secret doomsday device in downtown Chicago, though they did start there with the first nuclear reactor, Chicago Pile 1, constructed under the bleachers at the University of Chicago. Totally safe, right? Eventually, the military needed a more isolated, secure location, somewhere away from prying eyes, paparazzi, or overly curious cows. Enter Los Alamos, New Mexico. Oppenheimer, the scientific director of the project and part-time dramatic philosopher, loved the area. As a young man, he'd ridden horses in the New Mexico desert and said it was where he felt most alive, which is oddly poetic considering he helped invent a death ray. So the government seized a private boys' school on a mesa and turned it into the Los Alamos Laboratory, or simply Site Y. The staff lived on campus. Their mail was sent to a fake address, P.O. Box 1663, Santa Fe, New Mexico. Even birth certificates for babies born there listed that address. That's how secret it was.
Santa Fe and security should not rhyme.
The plan was to isolate Los Alamos from the world. But you try telling a few thousand brilliant physicists and engineers that they can't leave the compound for 2 years. Despite strict rules, workers regularly traveled into Santa Fe for food, entertainment, mail, and the occasional date. That's when Soviet intelligence realized the secrets weren't locked inside Los Alamos. They were walking around in Santa Fe, casually sipping horchata and debating thermodynamics. And that's when the spies came to town. Meet the spy squad, Gold, Fuchs, and the ghosts of East Palace Avenue. Let's talk about Klaus Fuchs, a mild-mannered German physicist with the ability to calculate nuclear chain reactions and betray entire governments. Fuchs had fled Nazi Germany, joined the British scientific community, and was eventually sent to work on the Manhattan Project as a top-level researcher. What the U.S. didn't know was that Fuchs was also a committed communist who believed nuclear weapons should be shared, especially with Stalin. Now, he didn't wear a trench coat or hide in the shadows. He wore glasses, worked hard, and passed the Soviets everything: calculations, designs, even with details about Fat Man and Little Boy. The bombs eventually dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. He slipped this info to Harry Gold, a courier from Philadelphia who looked like he taught chemistry during the day and chain-smoked out of guilt at night. Gold traveled hundreds of miles to meet Fuchs in Santa Fe in 1945. They met at places like the La Fonda Hotel, East Palace Avenue, and even side streets near the train station. Their code phrases were stuff like, "My name is Raymond. I come from Julius. I bring you greetings," which is basically spy talk for, "Hey, I'm your ride." Fuchs would hand over handwritten notes, sketches, even memory-based reconstructions of the bomb. Gold would pass these to another handler, who'd eventually deliver them to the Soviets, all under the noses of U.S. intelligence.
The Rosenbergs, a family affair.
Now let's head east to New York City, where the heart of the Soviet spy network beats in rhythm with Communist Party meetings and family dinners. Julius Rosenberg was an electrical engineer and devout communist who had worked with the Army Signal Corps. He was fired in 1945 for his political leanings, but not before making connections that helped him recruit young men with access to military secrets. His greatest get? David Greenglass, his brother-in-law, a machinist at Los Alamos. Greenglass sent Julius handwritten notes and drawings of bomb components, including a crude diagram of the implosion mechanism. Julius passed this to his Soviet contacts, and, allegedly, Ethel Rosenberg typed up his notes and facilitated some meetings. Greenglass later testified that Ethel was deeply involved, but years later, he admitted he lied to protect his wife. Because nothing says family loyalty like throwing your sister under a radioactive bus.
The fall of the network.
So what brought this spy ring down? One word, Venona. The Venona project was a top-secret U.S. program to decrypt Soviet intelligence cables. In the late 1940s, American cryptanalysts cracked parts of Soviet communications. And slowly, the names began to emerge. Raymond was Harry Gold. Rest was Klaus Fuchs. And liberal, yes, that was Julius Rosenberg. Gold was arrested in 1950. Under questioning, he folded like a wet tortilla and gave up Fuchs. Fuchs gave up Julius. Julius was arrested. Ethel followed soon after. David Greenglass cut a deal, and the dominoes fell hard and fast. In 1951, Julius and Ethel Rosenberg were tried for conspiracy to commit espionage. The trial was a Cold War media circus. The prosecution had one job: prove that they passed nuclear secrets to the Soviets. The evidence was circumstantial. Greenglass's testimony carried the weight. The country was on edge. Joseph McCarthy was waving fake lists of communists in the Senate. Fear was king. The Rosenbergs were convicted and sentenced to death. Many called it justice. Others called it a witch hunt. Even today, historians are divided. Most now agree Julius passed secrets, but Ethel, possibly innocent. But history isn't always fair, and neither are courts in a Cold War panic. On June 19, 1953, both were executed at Sing Sing prison. Their sons, Michael and Robert, were orphaned, later adopted by a poet and leftist activist couple. They spent their lives trying to clear their parents' names.
Legacy and fallout, and by fallout, we do not mean the game.
Back in Santa Fe, the secrets faded into history. Today, you can walk past 109 East Palace Avenue, the gate through which thousands of Manhattan Project employees passed on their way to Los Alamos. There's even a plaque, but for years, no one talked about it. Locals whispered about the box on the hill. Families didn't know where their relatives worked, just that they came home quiet and tense. The Soviets, of course, successfully tested their own atomic bomb in 1949, years earlier than expected, thanks in no small part to Santa Fe, Klaus Fuchs, Harry Gold, and the Rosenbergs. So the next time you're enjoying a quiet afternoon in Santa Fe, sipping a margarita and admiring the architecture, remember, this town was once a covert hub of nuclear espionage. Spies walked these streets, secrets changed hands, and someone may or may not have passed uranium data in a hollowed-out tamale. That's all for this episode of the Strange History Podcast. I'm Amy, and remember, sometimes the strangest events happen in the quietest places. Rate us, review us, share with your nerdiest friend, and if you happen to be from Santa Fe, drop us a line and tell us if your grandma ever mentioned passing Einstein on the plaza. Until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and stay strange.